Welcome back to Sketchy Facts. Today we're not just going over one fact, oh no. We've got 15 of the weirdest, creepiest, and funniest facts all packed into one video. From animals with bizarre superpowers to history's strangest moments, this is the ultimate sketchy roundup. So sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Did you know bananas are actually radioactive? It's true. They contain potassium-40, a naturally occurring radioactive isotope. Now, before you freak out, the dose is tiny. You'd have to eat around 10 million bananas in one sitting to get a lethal dose of radiation. But here's the sketchy part. Scientists even use a banana equivalent dose as a funny way to explain radiation exposure. Basically, your breakfast fruit is glowing on a microscopic level. But don't worry, the only real danger is slipping on the banana peel. Did you know there's a fungus that can actually turn ants into zombies? It's called Ophiocordyceps unilaterus. When an ant gets infected, the fungus hijacks its brain and forces it to climb up a plant. Then right when the ant bites down on the leaf or twig, the fungus kills it, and it grows a spore stalk straight out of the ant's head. From there, it rains pores down on the colony below, infecting even more ants. Basically, it's nature's real-life version of The Last of Us, and the ants don't stand a chance. Did you know there's a shrimp out there with claws so powerful it can shoot bubbles hotter than the surface of the sun? It's called the pistol shrimp. When it snaps its claw, it blasts out a bubble and hits around 210 decibels louder than a gunshot. And when the bubble collapses, the energy is so intense it stuns or even kills fish nearby. Basically, this tiny shrimp is the ocean's gunslinger, packing more firepower than anything its size should ever have. So next time you think small means harmless, just remember, underwater, the shrimp are strapped. Did you know dolphins can hold their breath for about 10 minutes? Pretty impressive, right? But here's the sketchy part. Sloths can actually hold their breath for up to 40 minutes. They do it by slowing their heart rate way down, almost like hitting a pause button on their body. So while dolphins are built like Olympic swimmers, sloths are the real champions of chilling underwater. Imagine one just hanging out in a coral hammock, sipping from a snorkel cup while dolphins are getting winded. So next time you see a sloth, remember, behind that lazy face is an underwater marathon champ. Did you know some butterflies actually drink blood? Most of the time, butterflies sip on nectar, but some species are a lot sketchier. They'll land on animal carcasses, even mud soaked with animal tears, and yes, sometimes they'll drink fresh blood if it's round. Scientists think they do it for extra nutrients, like sodium that flowers just can't provide. Basically, behind those colorful wings is a tiny vampire with a sweet tooth for creepy stuff. Did you know sharks actually sleep with one eye open? That's because they can shut off half of their brain at one time. It lets them rest while swimming and watching out for danger. So even when a shark looks like it's snoozing, one side of its brain is always awake, keeping an eye on its surroundings. Basically, sharks invented the ultimate power nap, and we're just not built for it. Did you know a Roman emperor once tried to make his horse a senator? The emperor Caligula was obsessed with his horse Enceladus. This wasn't just any horse. Caligula built him a marble stable, gave him servants, and even fed him oats mixed with gold. Yeah, gold for breakfast. And he didn't stop there. Caligula reportedly said he wanted to give his horse a seat on the Roman Senate. That's right. While humans argued about politics, a horse was about to stroll in wearing a toga. Imagine the Senate chamber falling silent, waiting for a horse to speak. And he just lets out a giant neigh, and everyone takes note like it's the wisest law ever passed. Basically, Rome almost had its first politician who worked entirely for carrots. Did you know there was a pope who declared cats evil? Back in 1233, Pope Gregory IX decided that cats, especially black cats, were linked to the devil. He even issued an official church document calling them agents of Satan. The result? People across Europe started getting rid of cats left and right, which, spoiler alert, turned out to be a horrible idea, because without cats, rat populations exploded, and rats carried fleas, and those fleas carried the plague. So basically, blaming cats for evil may have actually made the Black Death worse. Imagine banning cats and accidentally speedrunning history's deadliest pandemic. Did you know a Japanese soldier kept fighting World War II for almost 30 years after it ended? His name was Hiro Onoda. When Japan surrendered in 1945, Onoda didn't believe it. He hid in the jungles of the Philippines, carrying out little raids and surviving off coconuts and bananas. The wild part? He stayed there until 1974, nearly 3 decades later. That's longer than the Beatles, disco, and the moon landing all combined. It finally took his old commanding officer flying out in person to convince him that the war was over. Basically, while the world was dancing to disco, this guy thought that World War II was still going strong. Did you know Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than the building of the pyramids? The Great Pyramid of Giza was finished around 2560 BC. Cleopatra, the famous queen of Egypt, lived almost 2,500 years later, around 50 BC. Now here's the sketchy part. From Cleopatra's time to the moon landing in 1969 is only about 2,000 years. That means Neil Armstrong's one small step was actually closer to Cleopatra than the pyramids were. Basically, to Cleopatra, the pyramids were already ancient ruins, and she's more of a neighbor to the astronauts than the pharaohs who built them. Did you know animals could be put on trial in the medieval times? Back in Europe, courts actually treated animals like people. Pigs, goats, and even insects were dragged into courtrooms. If a pig hurt someone, it could be tried for assault or even executed. And here's the sketchy part. They sometimes hired lawyers to defend the animals. Imagine standing in court, seriously arguing a cow's legal rights. There are records of pigs being hanged, roosters charged for laying eggs, and swarms of locusts being excommunicated by the church. Basically, medieval justice was so wild, you never knew if your neighbor on trial would be a person or a chicken. Did you know koalas have fingerprints almost identical to humans? Just like us, koalas have loops, whorls, and ridges on their fingers. In fact, their prints are so close to ours that even under microscope, it can be hard to tell the difference. Here's the sketchy part. In theory, a koala could wander onto a crime scene and confuse investigators. Imagine the police dusting for fingerprints and going, wait, did a tiny drunk Australian bear just rob this place? Basically, koalas aren't just cute, they're furry little identity thieves. Did you know crows can recognize and remember human faces? Scientists ran experiments wearing different masks, and crows remembered which ones treated them badly. They even taught other crows to mob the bad guys, passing on the grudge to birds that weren't even there. Here's the sketchy part. That means if you tick off a crow, not only will it remember you, it might tell its friends, and suddenly the whole murder of crows is out for revenge. Basically, crows never forget, and you don't want to end up on their enemies list. Did you know Komodo dragons have some of the deadliest spit in the animal kingdom? For years, scientists thought that their mouths were full of bacteria that one bite could rot you from the inside out. But the truth is even sketchier than that. Their saliva is laced with venom that stops blood from clotting. That means if a Komodo dragon bites something and it runs away, the animal will slowly bleed out, while the dragon just follows behind, waiting for its dinner to drop. Basically, their spit works like a slow-acting poison, turning a simple bite into a guaranteed kill. Did you know male anglerfish don't really date? They attach for life. In the deep ocean, the female anglerfish is huge, while the males are tiny. When a male finds a female, he bites her skin and never lets go. Over time, he actually fuses into her body, sharing her blood supply. Here's the sketchy part. He loses his eyes, his fins, even most of his organs, until he's basically a living sperm bank stuck to her side. Some females carry half a dozen of these fused-in boyfriends all at once. Basically, anglerfish turn marriage into this full-body parasitism. Talk about clingy. Okay guys, and that's all 15 sketchy facts for today. If you learned something new or you just got a little weirded out, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next batch of bizarre facts. Do me a favor, drop your favorite fact in the comment box below, and hey, maybe I'll feature it in the next compilation. I want to let everybody know I greatly appreciate you being here, and thanks for watching Sketchy Facts, where the truth is actually just a little bit sketchy. I hope to catch you in the next video.